Welcome, everybody, to the Eagle Insider on Eagle All Access. My name is Chad Bush, and this is our first installment of the Fall Sports Preview. We'll have interviews from players and coaches alike, and we will have all that coming up right after this. Stand by. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Eagle Vision and Eagle All Access. We're pleased to be joined today by John Goodridge, now in his 9th season as the men's cross-country coach here at Eastern Michigan University. John, thanks for joining us. Pleased to have you.
My pleasure.
John, no stranger to Mid-American Conference championships. They just completed their 4th straight MAC championship, and under John's tutelage, their 5th in the Mid-American Conference. John, this year's team a little bit different. You've lost some talent from last season. Talk a little bit about the outlook here in 2009.
Well, it's an exciting time for the team and for me as their coach. We have opportunity for a lot of new athletes to fulfill roles that they're not used to fulfilling, but they're totally committed to defending the championship, and I like my team.
Well, certainly, and you have to like your team when you're led by one of your senior co-captains in Curtis Volmar. And talk a little bit about Curtis thus far this season. 2 meets already in the books, the Michigan State and the Detroit Titan Invitationals. Talk about the success thus far.
Well, it's true that we start the season without an athlete that's run in the number 1 position for Eastern cross country. Curtis is an experienced athlete. On the track, he's a MAC champion at 3,000 meters and 5,000 meters, and has been a member of the past 3 MAC cross-country championship teams. So I never had any doubt that Eastern would be well represented in the number 1 spot. And Curtis has done that extremely well in his first 2 outings, and I'm excited about the season he's going to have.
Well, Curtis just one of many members this season competing in the Mid-American Conference. And let's talk a little bit about the road ahead. You head to the Notre Dame Invitational in a couple of weeks, followed up by a couple other meets, and then the big meet down in Athens, Ohio, the MAC Championship. Take us through the season, the progression from where you go from here, and what lies ahead for this team.
Yeah. Well, each competition on our schedule is affording us different opportunities to prepare for the MAC Championship. And we're excited with coming up, Notre Dame coming up. It's one of the oldest cross-country meets in the nation. Wonderful competition, and we're real excited about that. But everything, as you said, is geared towards Athens.
It is, and that meet, of course, in Athens will take place on October the 31st in Athens, Ohio. Let's talk about the tradition here at Eastern Michigan, a very rich tradition in cross-country. And you took over 9 seasons ago, and I know the tradition here is very important to you. Talk about what it means to you.
Well, tradition is a word that I think has to be earned. And when I was at a previous institution that did not have the tradition, I think it took about 4 or 5 years of success before I said, now we're allowed to use that word tradition. That wasn't the case at Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan has had a rich tradition back into the early 1900s. And that was an exciting opportunity for me from a coaching standpoint to see if I could add to that tradition. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed being a part of it. And it's a great source of pride for our athletes. But they understand it's the opportunity for them to add to the tradition, not just enjoy it, but to add to it. And they're doing a great job, this year's class and team, and we're going to be just fine.
You also have a couple of additions to the team this season. Let's talk a little bit about that and some of the newcomers that are new to the program this year.
Very excited. We have, actually, it's the largest class in my coaching career that has joined us. We have 2 outstanding young men. Terefa Ijigu is a transfer from New Zealand, and Moise Frisch was one of the top middle distance runners in the nation from Toledo, Ohio. And they're having a wonderful transition to training with us and enjoying school, and they're going to make a name for themselves at EMU.
You've had international students before, both at Wake Forest, as you mentioned before, where you were at, and here at Eastern. Talk about the adjustment period for an international student. Not only are they coming into perhaps a new country, but it's a different type of running style and terrain and scheduling, preparing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's always a change for any athlete, American or international, when you switch coaches. And so there is a transition, and that's been going very, very smoothly. And international athletes are in every sport, and they have come from obviously very varied experiences, and it's been a rich history for us here, and we've been very appreciative of them.
Well, the EMU Fall Classic, always a meet, an event that I know that you're very proud of, and it's going to be really our lone home meet here that fans will get an opportunity to take advantage and come out and cheer on our runners. Talk about that. That occurs on October the 23rd, and I know for you it's a neat experience playing here at your home course.
It's throughout the years. It's been a real fun event for the local community. There are some outstanding post-collegiate athletes that are in the Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor area, including international athletes and Olympians. And just about every year, one or two or three of them participate. I coach a group of Eastern post-collegiate athletes that competed in the last two Olympic trials, and they'll be racing there. So for local running enthusiasts, it's a beautiful time of the year and an opportunity to see some fun cross-country racing.
All right, John Goodridge, in his 9th season, 5 MAC titles, 4 straight MAC championships. We'll try to make it 5 in a row. Good luck, Coach. Great getting to know you, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
All right, John Goodridge, hang in there, folks. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Eagle Vision, Eagle All Access. My name is Chad Bush, and I'm pleased to be joined today by women's head soccer coach Scott Hall. And Scott, thanks so much for taking time to join us here today.
Thanks for having me.
Scott Hall, his team coming off a 2008 season that was very successful, a team that took Toledo to the wire and almost won the MAC championship against Toledo. Let's get caught up on this season, though, thus far, Scott, and an impressive showing against Michigan State on Saturday. You end up in a 1-1 tie, and so far this season you come in 4-2-2.
Yeah, good kind of building blocks as we get to the MAC season. We end the regular part of the season here with Michigan State, top 25 program. Again, we try to put ourselves with a chance to win the game, and we had 2 glorious chances to win in overtime. But a good showing for us, preparing us for this MAC season.
Now, Scott, you've been a part of Eastern Michigan soccer for a long time. In fact, since 1989. Talk a little bit about that and the importance of being here so long and soccer being so important to you here at Eastern Michigan.
You start to make me sound old. It's a good feeling. Eastern, it drags you in because it's a place where there's a lot of good people. So I think it's more the school than really the soccer or the athletic program. It's the whole school, the administration, the people that are here, the students, the professors, everything. It's kind of that working class school where you can feel at home. So it's easy. It's been easy to be here since 1989, although it does sound like I'm getting old.
Well, we know you're not old. It has been, though, a young program. I mean, soccer here at Eastern, the women's soccer program is young. And you've had an opportunity to learn under one of the best in Paul Cicluna. And, of course, Paul Cicluna not with us any longer, but I know you've learned quite a good deal from him. Talk about the importance of learning under Paul and what's meant the most to you.
Well, and it's kind of a time where we're talking about the 99 championship. It's the 10-year reunion for that. So Paul Cicluna was he was the architect of that team, along with myself as an assistant. But he brought, a very hard work ethic. He was a Maltese gentleman who came over when he was like 9 years old and ran flower shops here and basically built an empire. He was a multimillionaire, and nobody really knew it. So I think he was the first one to roll his sleeves up and get dirty when things got tough. So I think we learned that here with the players that we recruit and the people that we surround ourselves with.
And as you mentioned, you will be honoring that 1999 championship team on October 3rd and 4th that weekend during the football game. Talk a little bit about the importance of that and bringing the people back and getting the good feelings going again.
Well, and it's nice. I guess one of the good things, too, also about being here for as long as I have, I do have a connection with all the alumni. So we're excited to get the 99 team back. We'll honor them at halftime of the football game along with halftime of the soccer game on the Sunday. So it'll be a nice weekend to get everybody back. We've had some good, when we were in Virginia this year, we ran into two of our alumni that are in Richmond. They had dinner with us. They talked with the players. The players can kind of see that next step as I finish, where we go, what we do. So it's nice when we bring the 99 team back. They'll get to connect with some of our players here. And again, our players here are trying to win a championship, so they'll have a real good connection with that 99 team to find out what it takes to do that.
We've talked a lot about the tradition and the teams of past. You've got a quite nice team this year as well. Let's talk about it. You've got great balance offensively, defensively, goaltending. It all really seems to be coming together for you. Talk about the players this year that will be a part of this MAC championship drive.
Well, I mean, we start from the back. We have two great goalkeepers, both who could start it. And again, they fight it out each week in training to see who's going to get which game. Across the back, Julie Kime is Kelly Papa, Brandy Wood, Katie Marsh, and then Jessica Thomas, one of the freshmen in from Calgary, has seen quite a bit of time. Through the midfield, a good leader in Katie Lozar, one of our seniors, Stephanie Jansen, Chelsea Dietrich, who plays up front, and in the midfield, Dina Kintner. I mean, up front, we've got all kinds of different weapons that can run at you. Again, we're still trying to find how we create a lot of scoring opportunities. Now we just got to finish them. So hopefully we're going to start, again, we don't want to peak, but we want to just find a little more of a rhythm as we hit the MAC regular season.
How does that work, having two goaltenders that are equally as good or darn near equally as good? That competition really seems to drive those two young ladies. Talk about that and the excitement and the competitiveness that really drives throughout the team.
Well, it's fun. I mean, obviously, as we're doing finishing, you're only going to be good as if the keeper can make saves. Then you have to be better, and both keepers can make saves, and both keepers, have to keep that edge all the time. But really, in training, I mean, it's a blast. We get to watch both of them. One makes a great save, and the other one tries to top it, and it goes back and forth like a tennis match. So it's fun. It's exciting.
All right, Coach. Thanks so much for stopping by. Appreciate it. Again, the MAC opener this Friday at Akron, and then the home opener, you come back a week later on October the 2nd against Buffalo, the home opener for the Mid-American Conference schedule. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. We will certainly see you out at Scicluna Field this fall. Good luck on another championship drive here at EMU.
Thanks for having me.
All right, there he is, Scott Hall, in his 11th season here at Eastern Michigan University. This has been a visit with Scott, and this is Eagle Vision. Fans, Chad Bush here for Eagle Nation and Eagle Nation All Access, and we're pleased to be joined here this afternoon by Ashley Rodriguez, a senior forward out of Pickering, Ontario. And Ashley, thanks for joining us here this afternoon.
Not a problem. Glad to be here.
All right. Well, Ashley, an all-MAC performer, joins us, and you really get set for a big season. Everything opens up this Friday at Akron.
Yeah.
And I know you're looking forward to getting back into the MAC season.
Definitely. The whole team's excited, actually. It's just, you go through your preseason games and you kind of build on each game that follows, and pretty much you're just gearing up for the MAC, so everyone's just really excited and really pumped up for this Friday. So.
Well, and you have some momentum because you had a great ball game against Michigan State. You guys, I know, had a lead that you let get away, and however, it was a great showing against Michigan State,
Yes.
A Big Ten team, and teams that you guys have done very well against in the past. from a confidence standpoint, how does that bode well for Friday?
It's definitely a confidence booster. A team like Michigan State, who plays so well with the ball, I mean, to come out and get that first goal and get chances on them that could have put the game away, really means a lot to us. And it just gives us that confidence that we can do it. We can go out there and we can play, quote unquote, Big Ten teams that should be able to sweep us. But I mean, we held our own, and we definitely could have put the game away if we finished.
Well, you sure could. Get a chance to come back, get into the MAC season. You've had a good non-conference schedule, competitive as Coach Hall always puts together. Talk about the team's attitude now moving forward. And I know you, amongst the other seniors, really have a sense that this team could go quite far.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned it before that this being my senior year, actually coming in as a freshman, not making the playoffs. Second year, losing first round. Third year, going all the way to the finals and then losing in that final game. And this year, it's just we got a one-up every time. And, I mean, we're going all the way this year. I think everyone can feel that.
Not only were you first-team All-MAC, you've also been All-Academic. And I know Coach Hall puts an importance on that. Talk about the student-athlete part of it, really putting the whole package together and that adjustment for you here at Eastern, how you've been able to be so successful.
It definitely comes down to discipline and organization. I mean, we're traveling, a fair share amount of the season, and we just have to get in any time that we can is schoolwork outside of soccer, outside of practice. And, we got a great group of girls who put a lot of focus into that as well. And like I said, just keeping that balance of giving it your all on the soccer field and in school, because that's what we're all here for. So we try to keep that going, and it shows. So
sure does. You're a health administration major.
Yes.
What are the future plans for Ashley Rodriguez as a professional?
As a professional, well, I'm definitely planning to do my master's. Where that'll be, I'm not sure, but it'll either be in business or health administration. So another 2 years after this.
Well, Ashley, we really appreciate your time here this afternoon. Best of luck in this 2009
Thank
season, and good luck winning the MAC championship. I know that's your lofty expectation, but
yes.
Best of luck moving forward. Thanks for taking time today.
Thank you.
Okay, Ashley Rodriguez of the EMU Eagles women's soccer team. And hang in there, folks. We'll be right back. This is Eagle Vision and Eagle All Access. Welcome back, everybody, to Eagle Vision All Access. Pleased to be joined now by Brad Holdren, the head varsity rowing coach here at Eastern Michigan University, now in his 6th season. And Brad, we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Brad, it's the fall season, and we know the fall season for rowing is a bit different than the spring season. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about the preparation here in the fall as you really work more against the clock versus a competitor.
Right. The fall season in rowing is very similar to cross country as opposed to track. In the fall, you race single file against the clock. In the springtime, you're racing head-to-head, 6 lanes wide to the finish line. The fall is more about endurance preparation. We get to spend a lot of time doing low rate, high intensity mileage versus shorter interval pieces.
Okay. And I know your next event is coming up here in Rockford, Illinois, the Head of the Rock. And that's really an opportunity for you to go against some of the better programs in the country. Talk about the competition there and the chance to compete against some of the best.
Rockford, Illinois is going to have the University of Minnesota, Notre Dame, University of Wisconsin, University of Iowa. Wisconsin, Notre Dame, and Minnesota have all been ranked in the top 25 programs in the last 2 years. Iowa has been just outside of the top 25. That's the first program we think that we can pick off on our way up the ladder. Followed by hopefully Notre Dame and then possibly even Wisconsin if things go well for us at this race.
And you have in the rowing, you have a varsity 8, and you have a 4-man boat, and then you have an A and a B for the varsity 8.
Correct.
Talk about that a little bit and how that falls into play for your oarsmen.
Rowing's a neat sport because, to put it in terms that other sports will understand, the varsity and the JV matter. The varsity and the JV do score points. We have a first varsity and a second varsity 8. We also have a varsity 4 event, and those 3 boats are what make up a competitive team in NCAA language. You have to be good in all 3 of those boats, which means you have 20 rowers and 3 coxswains who are all very important to your program in order to qualify for the NCAA championships.
The depth now of this program has really started to increase. You now have over 40 rowers out, and you've developed a new thing here at Eastern, the novice program. Talk about how that depth really helps to increase the competitiveness of your program.
Again, this is a great sport because it allows everyone on campus to come out and try. Learning to row takes about 10 minutes. It's easy to learn. It's almost impossible to get right. It's almost impossible to make it perfect. So in 10 minutes, we can teach you how to row. In 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, you might be getting good enough at it to compete at the national team level. So we encourage all women on our campus to come try out for the team. This year we've had over 40 walk on and join the team. Our team depth has been a problem in recent years, but we feel we've got that covered, and we should have over 50 girls on the team this year, and our goal ultimately is to have 100 girls on the team within 2 years.
And really, it's a unique opportunity for someone to get involved in a sport. We talked earlier to Betty about how the endurance in rowing, it's a 7-minute race, but the training that leads up to it is really something that doesn't compare to other sports.
Exactly, and the message that we give to all of our freshmen coming in is we don't care what shape you're in when you start. What we care about is how hard you're willing to get in shape, how hard you're willing to work. We will get you there if you have the patience and the persistence to come and give it a try.
You finished 80th last season.
Yeah.
We know that was not where you wanted to be.
No.
However, this year you feel you have a program that can be in the top 25 in the country.
Yes.
Talk about that growth and how you were able to get there so fast, or believe you can get there so fast.
Last year we had a couple of our key girls out injured. We also had some very young talent that has developed and gotten stronger this year. We feel that we can easily make a jump of 50 places. We will most assuredly be in the top 30 and hopefully within the top 20 in the country this year. The difference in time between, say, 40th and 80th in the country is only 4 or 5 seconds. It's very close. It's very competitive, but we think we've got that under control.
Brad, we talked earlier about the Rockford, Illinois meet. Mm-hmm. You also have another regatta coming up, the Head of the Hooch. That's right, the Head of the Hooch in Chattanooga, Tennessee, coming up in November. Talk about that race. You get to face some of the better programs in the country from the South.
Definitely some of the better programs in the Southeast, and no, the winners do not get their own bottles of whiskey. It's called the Head of the Hooch because it's named after the Chattahoochee River, just to clarify that. But we do. We get to race some of the top 10 programs in the country are in the Southeast region, and they will all be there. It's a great chance to get an early season, not a scrimmage mindset, but almost just an early season checklist of what you need to work on over the long winter months.
Okay. Brad, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Brad Holdren, everybody, in his 6th season here at Eastern Michigan for the women's rowing program. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way. All right. Once again, Brad Holdren. I'm Chad Bush for Eagle Vision. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Welcome back, everyone, to Eagle Vision and Eagle All Access. My name is Chad Bush, and today we're pleased to be joined by the women's rowing team and a junior out of Norfolk, Virginia. And Betty Thomas joins us here this afternoon. Betty, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Betty came to Eastern really to be a part of a competitive varsity collegiate rowing program, but you also came here to be a part of the great educational program here at Eastern Michigan University. Talk about the other reasons that drew you to Eastern Michigan.
Well, when I first came to campus, I really liked the area. I thought the city was really unique. Definitely fell in love with the campus. was acquainted with a lot of really nice girls on the team. Brad had me go around do campus tours with a couple of the older girls. They were really nice. They were really knowledgeable, and felt very welcomed. As time has changed, though, I did eventually change my major. No longer interested in the education field. However, it is a very good program here. I am doing something more on the arts management, theater arts field. And I've definitely felt really welcomed into my educational program here. Great professors, great staff, just good people in general.
Well, Betty, you are a very important part of the Varsity 8, and you, of course, the 7th seed in the Varsity 8. And I know this is the fall season, getting into some of the training times, but it's really a fresh attitude on this yes. rowing team. Talk about that and talk about the opportunity and the excitement back in the program here at Eastern.
Well, a lot of big changes are on the way for us with the rowing team. A lot of really good new faces, new ideas, new attitudes. People are just getting ready to go out there and give 110% every day, give whatever they have every day, even if it's not 110. They've only got 100% today, they're going to give that. Just new attitudes, new mindsets. Every single one of us is here because we want to win. We want to change the face of the program. We want to be top 10. We want to be number 1. It'll be a big leaps and bounds is what we're trying to make. And I believe in the team. I believe that it'll be accomplished. And I have faith in my teammates that they will put forth the effort. And I know that we will spur each other on to do better in practice, on the water, off the water, in the weight room, even outside of practice. And make sure you're stretching, make sure you're eating right, getting enough rest, doing your homework. So.
Well, Betty, certainly rowing is a different sport. There's only 3 universities in the state of Michigan have rowing as a collegiate sport. Talk about the grueling training. Anyone who's been a part of a regatta and a race knows that it's just unique and grueling and gut-wrenching. Explain to the folks out there that have not been a part of it what it's all about to be in a race.
Well, we train 6 days a week, 6:30 to 9:15, for pretty much our main racing season is a 2,000-meter race, adds up to about 7 minutes. So that's a lot of training for a very short period of time. You're out there, you're going hard, every stroke in the boat, on the water every day, just trying to make sure that you put forth your best effort. That's one of the biggest jokes among rowers. Oh, we put forth all this effort for 7 minutes. 7 full minutes. But it's also kind of a relief because your body goes through such excruciating pain from the moment that race begins. The moment that your oar hits the water and the clock is on, just this searing pain goes throughout all of your muscles. But when you achieve victory, it's worth it in the end.
Well, we know you're looking forward to quite a few victories this year, and I know you get things started here coming up. 2 races this fall. I know the first race is down in Rockford, Illinois, Head of the Rock, on October the 11th and the 12th, and also the Head of the Hooch in Chattanooga, Tennessee, on November the 7th. Talk about those 2 races and what you want to accomplish in those 2 races here this fall.
Well, the Head of the Rock is going to be a really nice regatta to go to. A lot of people who are reachable really soon. Minnesota's going to be there. Iowa's going to be there. Wisconsin's going to be there. We're going to be able to face them head-to-head more than we have in the past. We usually meet up with them again in the springtime, but we'll have a chance to meet with them face-to-face, head-on, take on this race. And in the fall, our races are more geared towards endurance. Mm-hmm. So we'll really have a chance to see how we match up. It'll give us a chance to analyze the race and see how we can attack them in the spring. With the Head of the Hooch, that is a huge regatta in the South. It's something that I've always dreamt about going ever since I was in high school, reading it in like my rowing news magazines. Coming from a high school program with like a shoestring budget, most of our rowing was focused on the springtime and going to the bigger regattas in the spring. Mm-hmm. Again, it's a huge regatta. There's going to be programs there from all over the country, not just for collegiate rowing, but club rowing, high school rowing. So we're going to see a lot of fast teams out there, a lot of teams that we are going to see again in the spring. So again, another chance to race them, analyze how we did, see what their strengths and weaknesses are, and then use it to our advantage in the springtime.
All right. Betty Thomas, a junior from Norfolk, Virginia, and a 7th seat in the Varsity 8 boat. We really appreciate your time here this afternoon. Best of luck this season in the fall.
Thank you.
And carry that momentum on to the spring. Best of luck. I know your aspirations are very high this year, as they should be. All right, folks. Thank you so much, Betty. Appreciate your time for joining us. Once again, this is Eagle All Access and Eagle Vision. To Eagle Vision and the All Access channel. We are pleased to be joined by Kim Barrington, now in her 14th season as the women's volleyball coach here at Eastern Michigan. And, Coach, we are getting ready for exciting times as the MAC season is about to get underway finally. It's been a long non-conference season. We've been battle-tested with injuries and travel, but none of that matters now. What matters now is the MAC season, and it finally gets underway here at the Convocation Center here on Friday night against Central Michigan.
Absolutely. We can't wait to start the MAC season, and hopefully some of the experience that we've gained will help us as we start battling the MAC.
We know that your two captains, and Kim Jarzinka and Victoria Randolph, are out with injuries. At this point in time, it has to be tough, overcoming not only two of your best players, but two of your captains. Talk about overcoming that and some of the players that have stepped up in their absence.
Well, it's always very difficult to overcome that when you lose two fourth-year players, two seniors, two leaders, two people that have the most experience of all the players on our team. So that's been difficult. I guess the good side of it is that everybody else has played a lot, played in multiple positions, and is gaining experience. Yeah. And it seems like every weekend we do something new, better. Yeah. And so those are things that we have to make sure that we continue to do well and to build on it.
Yeah. And not only is it challenging to overcome that you're getting new players in, but you're moving people that are used to certain positions and have perfected those positions and have gotten comfortable out of those positions just to account for some of these injuries. But have you found some things in doing that?
Well, we have a couple rocks in there. Ashley Mason is our sophomore setter. This is her second year as our starting setter, so she's been a rock. Jenny Schwartz is a junior middle blocker for us, and she's really come along for us and really picked up the leadership role, really been aggressive, and really just that person who's playing in fifth gear all the time. Mm-hmm. And surprisingly, Rachel Iconello has done a great job for us. She's the outside hitter who's playing all the way around. So she's done a good job for us in the front row. She's learned a back row position. She's become a very good passer in our serve-receive patterns. So those three have kind of been our mainstays. Some of the other people we've had to move around a little bit depending on injuries. Mm-hmm. Jill Bates is a returning sophomore. She's played some left side for us and then some right side. Caitlin Vincic has a redshirt freshman. She's played some left side and some right side. The middle blocking position, we've had junior Joy McKenzie in there. Mm-hmm. This past weekend, we got Emily Good in there. And then we've also had Kristen Baker in there. So like I said, we've got a lot of people in different positions. They've got their feet wet. We're still trying to figure out their strengths and trying to build on those.
So it's Central Michigan at home Friday night here at the Convocation Center, a 7 o'clock start. And then you continue on with your MAC in Game 2 of the MAC, and you travel to Kent, Ohio against Kent State. Let's get a little bit of a preview of what we're faced against the Chippewas and the Golden Flashes.
Well, the Chippewas are big, 6'4" middle, 6'2" right side, 6'1" outside hitter, and 5'11" outside hitter. So across the front row, we're going to see a big block. They have a senior setter, so she's used to running a pretty quick offense. So it's a team that definitely will bring it. So they'll be tough to defend. When we go to Kent State, they run a totally different style offense than anybody in the MAC. It's kind of like in football, if you're used to running a pro-style offense and then you switch to a spread offense. Defensively, you have to make different adjustments. So for this young team, playing Kent State at this time of the year is going to be a big hurdle for us. But we have to see it. We have to learn how to defend it, and might as well see it early and challenge us and get us prepared for anything and anybody else we see the rest of the year.
Certainly. I always appreciate the football references as well and the education you give me there. You're from Pittsburgh, and you're a big Pittsburgh Steeler fan, aren't you?
Absolutely. Charlie Batch and Ron Johnson and John Banaszak and all those former Eagles that at that time were Hurons became Steelers. So, yeah, I can talk about a little bit of football and Eastern football as well.
Coach has always quoted Chuck Knoll to me, and I certainly do appreciate that as well. So we're on to the Convo on Friday night, and we certainly encourage the students to get out to the Convo for this battle. What a scene it was for that Michigan game when Michigan came in here, and your kids really competed well, came out very strong, and at least for two of those sets were quite impressive.
Well, it was a lot of fun playing with a big crowd. I think we had some volleyball knowledgeable people here.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty loud. The students were into it, and it was quite exciting. It would have been a lot of fun if we would have come up with one more point in that third set and put a little bit more pressure on Michigan and then see how loud everybody got. But I thought we battled and fought right up until the end. So proud of the team for that.
Certainly, the tough non-conference schedule you've put on is certainly going to help prepare for this game on Friday and throughout the rest of the MAC schedule.
Well, Central's a big rival, and we always have a lot of local volleyball fans come to it that know a lot of the players off of both teams, coaches, and so I think we'll have another big crowd and looking forward to another home match.
We are too. We'll be there. Kim Barrington, her 14th season. We appreciate your time. We wish you luck this Friday and for the rest of the MAC season.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right. Kim Barrington in her 14th season. Eastern Michigan Volleyball, Friday night. You're right here at the Convocation Center. Come check them out. I'm Chad Bush for Eagle Nation. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody to Eagle Vision and the Eagle All Access Network. My name is Chad Bush, and my guest here this afternoon is Ashley Mason, the sophomore setter from Eastlake, Ohio. And thanks so much for joining us, Ashley.
Thank you.
All right, Ashley and her team are getting ready for competition here this Friday at the Convocation Center as they battle Central Michigan. Now, Ashley, you come in really as one of the young leaders in this team. Your two captains are injured and appear to be out of the contest perhaps this weekend. Talk about the responsibility as being a young leader and really the quarterback, as most setters are of their teams.
Well, I've been setting pretty much all my life since I've started. So I'm used to everybody looking to me for help, asking for advice. So even as last year I was young, I was still experienced, ready for it. The girls are either my age or younger, so they still look up to me no matter what, throughout, on the court and off the court. And so even though my two big rocks besides myself are out, I still think that I can handle it, go in there, play well, help them play ball.
Yeah, and you've done it by example. 15th best all time with over 1,100 assists last season, and certainly off to a good start already with nearly 400 assists. And it's been a non-conference season that's been very challenging. You've had to travel to many different places, out of town, Colorado. Talk now, though, about this MAC team MAC schedule and how your team's preparing for really a new season. Forget about the non-conference. Didn't have the kind of success you wanted in victories, but you have had some gains in other areas.
Well, I think that during preseason, we've learned so much. You know, it's better to get it out then, learn what you're doing, fix your mistakes. MAC, everyone's always a little bit more fired up during MAC. You know, you're playing these teams each year. You have special rivals, and so it's always better. I think that, you know, we're really prepared now. We want to go out there, play hard. We're really fired up. Even though Victoria and Kim may not be able to play the first couple of games, these girls, I mean, even as a sophomore, they can see it through us, how excited we are. And I think their first year, you know, they'll want to play just as much as we are. So I think it's a good experience for everyone. You know, we want to go out there and win, forget about what happened, and I think that we can do it.
And you came to Eastern Michigan University, and you came to play for some pretty darn good coaches who were setters back in their day. Talk about how important that was, and if that was a factor in you attending Eastern.
Well, it was definitely a big factor. I really look up to them a lot. I have set for a really long time, but I've never had a true setting coach. I came in here, I was a little inconsistent on my footwork, you know, a little out of control, but they really,
they believe in me all the time. They help me through everything. They know all positions, but they're on me all the time, making sure that my set's perfect. They want it to be perfect. So, I mean, not only do the coaches influence me to come here, but the girls were great too. So I just like the whole environment here.
And you have a really nice young core of players, and I know Coach Barrington certainly likes to have a nucleus to build with. She has it now, and you're really leading that group. Is this something you all discuss and feel good about moving forward?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's always good, to have a young team, and especially with my age. So, in the future, we can all become better leaders, learn what's right, what's wrong. So I think in a couple years that we can actually be really good.
All right. Well, Ashley, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
And good luck against the Chippewas this Friday. Again, the Convocation Center, 7 o'clock this Friday. The Convocation Center has been a great home so far. You guys have had a great advantage here on the home court. We look forward to everyone attending that match and for the MAC season from here on out. It was great getting to know you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Ashley Mason, sophomore setter on this EMU volleyball team. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll be back for more right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to Eagle Vision and Eagle All Access. We're pleased to be joined now by head coach Ryan Ray of the Eagles women's tennis team. And, Coach, thanks for taking time to join and meet with us today.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
All right. You're just coming off an exciting invitational down at Bowling Green where the team performed very well, and it looks like it's going to give you some momentum heading into this meet this week against the Gopher Invitational.
Right. We had just a good, solid start this past weekend at Bowling Green. We were able to advance into 5 of the 10 finals flights that we were in. 7 of the 10, we at least made the semis. So it was a very good start. We've got a very young team, so experience and getting a lot of matches under their belt is very important. So I think it's something to build on, and as we move into some more difficult tournaments coming up against some major conference competition, we'll see how that fares.
Coach right now in his 4th season here at Eastern Michigan, and this team's a little bit different than in years past. A very young team, just 1 junior, the rest sophomores and freshmen. Talk about the youth this season and how you have to really adjust your coaching style.
Right. Well, we just have 3 of our 8 players that have been here a full year. So obviously we're very young, very talented. The potential's very high. So, like I said, experience, getting a lot of matches where the fall season is very beneficial for them to get used to college tennis. For some of them, the international players that play on clay courts a lot of the times, college tennis in the U.S. is all hard courts, so it's very different for them to get used to. So just match play is very important for them to get a little more experience under their belt.
You mentioned international players, something you know quite a bit about. Mm-hmm. In fact, this roster 100% outside of U.S.-born players. Talk about that. It's very unique and interesting in the development of your program. Talk about the roster makeup this season.
Mm-hmm. Well, as a whole, nationally, Division I women's college tennis is 50% international. It's just a very international sport. And in order to compete, you really need to be able to look globally for the best player you can find, whether they come from Michigan or somewhere overseas. And it's just been a coincidence that every recruiting cycle, out of all the people that are interested in coming to EMU, the most talented ones have been international.
And that makes for interesting communication because you have, of course, English being an international language, but you have people from different locations really forced to communicate and talk about that and the neat dynamic of that in your team.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, like you said, they at least need to have a certain level of English to be admitted to Eastern Michigan. But, they help each other. They look after each other, which is great. They're a great group of girls to coach. Like I said, they really do a great job of making sure that they're looking after each other and helping each other through a new situation in a new country.
Yeah. Well, you had a great performance by Marcela Rivero at Bowling Green. Talk about her performance and what you look for from Marcela here this season.
Yeah, Marcela's a very consistent player. Doesn't really have the big power shots, but she's not going to miss a ball. She will run down every shot. She's going to make somebody work to really beat her, and she did that this weekend against 3 good opponents. She was able to advance and win the Flight 7 singles title. I expect her to continue to be a good variety in our lineup of somebody that's just very consistent, somebody that's going to be tough to beat. You have to run and really work hard to beat her.
Really 2 seasons, Coach Ray, in tennis. You have the fall. Of course, we're in now the spring. Talk about the difference between the 2 seasons.
Sure. Yeah, the fall season is all individual based. You travel as a team. You compete against about 8 to 10 other teams. Individually, there's no team score kept. Basically developmental for the spring. The spring, then you go head-to-head against another university in a team-based match.
Well, Minnesota, you're on to Minnesota this weekend, the Gopher Invitational. Some Big Ten teams there, and it's going to be some good competition. Talk about the opportunity ahead this weekend in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's a great tournament there. You're guaranteed 4 singles, 4 doubles matches in a weekend. So get a little free conditioning in the process. They're going to play a lot of tennis, which is great for a young team. Major conference opponents, Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa. It's great competition. Couple nationally ranked players in the draw. So we'll get to see what we're made of. We've got a lot of talent. Like I said, it's just gaining confidence, gaining experience, and being able to have that talent come through.
All right, Ryan Ray, native of Nebraska, and now in his 4th season at Eastern Michigan. We appreciate your time. Good luck here in this fall season, and we'll catch up with you in the spring.
You bet. I appreciate it.
Okay, Ryan Ray. This has been Ryan Ray, and this is Eagle Vision. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, Eagles fans, and time now to go inside the women's tennis program here at Eastern Michigan on Eagle Vision. And a special guest today, Karina Ahuja, and she's a sophomore from New Delhi, India. And we thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no question. Now, Karina, you heard about Eastern Michigan, and talk about how you did hear about Eastern Michigan and what drew you to this university.
I looked online for the Division I tennis schools, and I checked the national NCAA rankings, and Eastern Michigan was ranked in 74. And then my second criteria was the business school, as I'm a business major.
Sure.
So these 2 factors really, it grew my interest in the university.
Yeah, you mentioned the rankings. Eastern ranked a
Yes.
couple years back, and hoping to get back into that ranking this season. We talked off camera. You talked a little bit about the weather, of course, being from India, not used to the sort of temperatures here in the Midwest in the United States. Talk about what intrigued you about the weather.
I had never seen snow before in India. I had never seen it snow, and I'd heard a lot about the weather in Michigan. Everyone said it gets really cold, and I don't know, I just wanted to experience it, and yeah, that's why I wanted to come here.
So now that you've experienced it, what are your thoughts?
I liked it at first. Then I kind of got used to it, and I like the summers better.
Like the summers better.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's when you do most of your tennis work. And let's talk about your tennis work as you're now in your sophomore season. Talk about your freshman season. Just sort of go through the progression of your happiness with the freshman season and looking forward to this sophomore year.
The first season, it was different because I had never played for a team before. Like, it was always individual matches. I used to play for myself. But when playing for a team, it's really different because you have to not only play for yourself, but when you're playing, you have to keep in mind that you want the whole team to win. So if they're winning, you want to win too because you don't want to disappoint them and you want to do better. I got experienced. It was nice to see what college tennis is about, and now I have a fair idea of what it is, and I know I'm going to do better. We're all going to do better.
Yeah, and what a neat cultural experience playing with team members from different areas of the country. And talk about that. What's been one of your more interesting experiences with another member on your team?
We just get to learn so much about different countries.
Mm-hmm.
I got to learn about the Netherlands, China, Bolivia. We try to learn their language, a few words,
Mm-hmm.
to encourage them. Like, come on, we learn how to say it in their language,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're all just learning about each other and the cultures. They want to learn about me. We try and make plans to visit each other, and so it's been interesting.
What about the cuisine? Do you guys all bring different food from your different cultures? And
I've tried my roommate's foods. She's Spanish,
Uh-huh.
and I've made them try Indian food. They all found it spicy, but they liked it.
Uh-huh.
So Chinese, obviously, and
Sure.
it's been good.
Well, very good. Well, thank you so much for your time today, and we really wish you luck here
Thank
in
you.
the fall season as you go to Minnesota this weekend and into the spring season as well. All right, Karina Ahuja, and we appreciate her time here this afternoon on Eagle Vision. We'll be right back. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back after these. Welcome back, everybody, to Eagle Vision and the Eagle All Access Network. We're pleased to be joined now by Sue Parks, now in her 4th season, and here at Eastern Michigan. And Sue, talk a little bit about this year's team. You've already raced 3 races, and thus far you've had some pleasant surprises in this young season for a very young team.
We're excited about this season. We've had 3 meets so far, and we've showed improvement in each meet. We had a really tight race with Western Michigan last Friday. Unfortunately, we lost by 2 points, but every meet's gotten better. We've seen positives come out of every meet, and we feel like we'll be ready for the end of the season.
Your influence in coaching, no doubt, an EMU legend, your father, Bob Parks. Talk a little bit about this. This was something that you've grown up with, and talk about the decision to become a coach.
Well, I think I sort of just fell into it a little bit. I actually got the opportunity to coach at the local high school, Ann Arbor Huron, when I was in my last year at Eastern. I didn't have cross-country eligibility left, and so I started out coaching really young and found I liked it, kind of had a knack for it, and so I just sort of kept at it. It wasn't a conscious decision I ever made. It just sort of happened.
And I know, as we mentioned off camera, your father, Bob, still comes around a lot. He likes being around the program, and you like him around the program, and why not?
He does. He's a big follower. He still is part of the high school scene. He's a starter at a lot of meets, so he goes around to the high school meets, and he's made it to all our meets so far, and he's a strong supporter of both women's cross country, men's cross country, and track and field as well.
All right, let's talk about your team this year. It's a young team. Your top 5, 3 out of your top 5 are freshmen. Talk about the development this year. You're excited. You've got a nice young nucleus to work with and very talented.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the group. We went to cross-country camp before school started, and I could just sort of tell the shift in the attitude that the girls in the team really wanted to do well. They really want to be the best they can be and really help the team improve. And, we were sort of down for a while in women's cross country, but I think this is the group that can help us get to the top. And when you got a team as young as we have, we know we need to gain experience, and that's going to take some time. But, I feel like we showed some good things so far already, and hopefully we'll continue to improve in the meets to come and really be ready for a good showing at MAC this year.
So far, one of your freshmen, true freshmen, Stephanie Kalka, has come on and already won 2 races for you. Has that been a surprise to you?
Well, I saw Courtney run in high school, and I knew the kind of talent she had, and you never know how people are going to adjust to that freshman year, but she's come in and just pretty much taken over, and it sort of has set the tone for the entire team, and when you have a strong front runner like that, everybody looks up to that and knows they need to move up. So I think it's really been helpful for the team, and she's pretty much stamped herself as one of the top runners in the conference, and that's definitely great to see as a freshman.
Yeah, it certainly is. And you have a lot of meets ahead, but we know the main meet is going to be the MAC championship. And as that approaches, talk about your training in preparation for the MAC championship and really where you're at right now.
Well, we've been training hard through these early meets, and you have to keep your training load up early at the beginning of the season. So we've kind of raced a little bit tired, but we're going to continue to train hard, and then hopefully be a little more rested and be at our best when conference rolls around. For the first time this year, our conference meet is going to be a 6,000-meter race. We've run 5,000 meters every other year in the past, so that's going to be something that's going to be a little different for the entire conference. But I feel it's going to be an advantage to us. We train at such a high level that we're going to be ready for that distance.
And that conference meet on October the 31st in Athens, Ohio. But a week prior to that, you're going to have the EMU Classic, which I know is always close to your heart. Being that it's our really home meet. Talk about the EMU Classic.
Well, that's one of those meets. You kind of get what you need out of it. There'll be some people that are getting ready for MAC. They'll be resting, but it gives everybody a chance to compete, and you can fine-tune things for the conference meet and maybe to even decide your lineup at that point. So, and it's always great to run at home.
Sue Parks, 5-time MAC Coach of the Year. We're pleased to have her join us here, the women's cross-country head coach. And, Coach, good luck in the Notre Dame Invitational coming up. And we really appreciate your time here this afternoon.
Thank you.
All right, Sue Parks, everybody. This has been Eagle Vision and the Eagle All Access Network. Welcome back, everyone, to Eagle Vision and the Eagle All Access Network. My name is Chad Bush. And I'm pleased to be joined now by a couple members of the women's cross-country team, and Courtney Kelka and Rachel Hollinger-Jansen, who join us here this afternoon. And, well, ladies, 3 races already in the books this season, and it's a very young team, but some things have already started to be established. And we'll start with you, Rachel. Talk a little bit about this season thus far, and you're a young leader on this team and only a sophomore. But I know you like the outlook and the makeup of this team.
Yeah, like Chad said, we have a really young team this year, mostly freshmen and sophomores. We only have 2 juniors and 2 seniors. But I think we have a lot of potential there. Every race we just keep getting better, and, we're all gearing up for the MAC champs. That's, where it's really going to count. And we've got, some really good young leadership. So I'm really excited about where we can go this season.
Now, you've been running for Coach Parks now for a couple seasons. She went and plucked you out of Goshen, Indiana, Ball State country. And talk a little bit about her. She really does a nice job of personalizing the training. I know that's something that has really helped you in your preparation for this season.
Yeah, Coach Parks is a wonderful coach. She knows I feel perfectly, safe in resting, all of my training in her capable hands. She tries to make sure that everybody has personalized training, that fits their needs, whether you be high mileage and running a couple times a day or, whether, you're an 800 runner and you need less mileage. She knows exactly what she's doing, and that was just a really nice relief for me coming in last year, from high school where you kind of have to, maybe do some of your own training. But, I know that whatever Coach Parks tells me to do, if I do it, she's going to train me to the best of my ability, and she really works the potential from you. So
she sure does. Your teammate to your right, Courtney Kelka, she seems to know what she's doing as well. She's finished first in both meets this season, in 2 of the 3 meets so far this season, first place. Outstanding for a true freshman. And you come to us from Livonia Stevenson. Talk about your time at Eastern Michigan so far.
Well, I really like the girls. I love the campus here. Being on the team is great. We have a great atmosphere with all the girls. We're really positive all the time. Running aspect is great. I know the training will get me really far if I stay on the program. I like my classes.
Yeah. Now, what are you planning on majoring in here at Eastern?
Exercise science.
Okay.
I plan on going into that program.
Of course, a great program here at Eastern Michigan, exercise science program. Talk about some of the choices you had to make. You were a highly recruited athlete and really chose Eastern Michigan over the University of Michigan and some other colleges out west. Talk about why.
Well, I like the campus here because It's a Division I campus, so you get the big athletics, but most of the people here are commuters, so you have like a small college feel. So you don't really feel lost at all when you're in your classes, and that's the main reason I picked it. And I like the girls also on the team, and the dorms are nice.
Yeah, well, we're certainly glad you chose Eastern. Rachel, let's talk a little bit more about this upcoming meet, Notre Dame Invitational coming up. And Rachel, I know Notre Dame close to your hometown of Goshen, Indiana. Talk about that experience and the opportunity to run and compete with a lot of family members and friends cheering you on.
Yeah, it's really nice to be able to see my family during some of the closer meets because I don't get to go home that much, being up in Michigan. But it's also nice to, run at a place, that I grew up around and stuff like that. And also the Notre Dame invite, this is actually one of the first years we've gone here for Eastern, at least since I've been here, since Coach Parks has been coaching, and it's a really competitive meet. There's always really good fast times. It's a good course. So we're really looking forward to kind of getting out there and busting a good race. So
certainly. Rachel Hollinger-Jansen, also one of the two captains on this year's women's cross-country team. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. And you're welcome. Best of luck in the Notre Dame Invitational. And, of course, the almighty important MAC Championship coming up on October the 31st in Athens, Ohio. This has been Rachel Hollinger-Jansen and Courtney Kelka joining us here on Eagle Vision. I'm Chad Bush. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon, everybody. That's going to do it for the Eagle Insider this time. My name is Chad Bush. We want to thank all the student athletes and coaches, and most importantly, you subscribers for tuning in here on Eagle Vision and Eagle Insider. And we also want to encourage you to go online at emueagles.com and to check out more details on Eastern Michigan University athletics. Thanks. We'll see you soon.